Everyone, this is Jim in Japan, and I thought I would show a kind of a cool little trick on the Fantom X6 that I have here. This is my main sequencing board that I use on stage. Sometimes I use the sounds inside. They're pretty good, but most often I like to use external synthesizers. So for today, for this example, I have the X6, and it is connected down here to the TG500, which I recently picked up. And this is multi-timbral, 16 channels. So I'm using a multi-patch. For example, I have on channel 1 like the drums, and channel 2 the bass, and channel 3 a couple choir sounds, for example. And one of the things that the X6 does not allow you to do is mute the external synthesizers. You can mute tracks with the internal sounds using the this mute solo function, but it doesn't work for external synths. If you go into your song edit mode and press song, you'll have your track listing, and with this menu you can use your cursor and you can dial over to the correct track and then use your decrease and increment buttons, increase, decrease buttons, and you can mute the track. But that's kind of a lot of work and a little tedious to do when you're on stage. You need something more immediate. And I discovered on one of the forums on the web, one of the Roland forums, the ability to create and send sysex messages to your external synths from the X6. But you have to use what they call RPS mode. Okay, so over here on the X6, if you press your RPS button there, it lights up. And then over here on your pads, you can use your keys, but on your pads, you can then trigger patterns. Now, what you do is you go into your song mode and you select pattern, and then you can create your patterns. And what I've done in Micro Edit is simply create a system exclusive message, custom one. Okay? And what this does is that when you press, for example, pad 1, it will turn off the volume for track 1 on an external synthesizer. Then I have pad 5 right above it here. That will turn it back on. So my bottom 4 pads, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, will turn off the first 4 tracks. 5, 6, 7, 8 will turn them back on. So now I can effectively mute and unmute the tracks on the Fantom X6 that are triggering that's triggering external synthesizers. Okay, so it's pretty cool. In a recent video, I showed you that you can basically live loop via Midi on the Fantom X6. Now I can mute and unmute those tracks, or I should say, you can mute and unmute external synths. Now, a lot of people ask me, and they email me about how do you find out the system exclusive messages. Another kind of trick I do that's kind of well known, if I swing over here, excuse the video, I have my MacBook Pro set up here, which I usually attach to my A800 Pro here. What I use here is the Midi Quest, and I have version 10 at the moment. And in Midi Quest, I don't have it connected at all to any synthesizer or controller. First of all, that's pretty cool. You don't really have to have it connected. You can just go in and you just start up the software. I'm not sure if you can really see it on this video, but it's okay if you can't. But basically what you're doing is you're starting Midi Quest. You're then calling up what they call the Midi monitor, so that you can view system exclusive messaging. And then you then call up your you call up your synth. So I called up the TG500, and then I can just toggle or select any button, and if I move it, automatically it will show the system exclusive that's trying to be sent to that Midi out. Now, of course, I don't have it set up at the moment or connected, but it will show me the data. So it'll show me for example, if I want to go to volume 0, it'll show me F0, 4, 3, 10, 29, 00, 01, 00, and on and on. And that is my system exclusive message. Then I can simply run back over here and go into my pattern, edit, and enter that data, and I'm all done. And now I can control an external synth. Now, of course, this is system exclusive information, so what I entered is only for the TG500. If I'm going to use another track, so let's say like up here I got the V synth, then what I need to do is then figure out what the system exclusive message is for the volume control on the V synth, and then program that in to its dedicated pad or pattern, and then I can trigger that here via RPS to mute on and off the V synth, okay, or any other synth that uses Midi. Now, one might say, well, okay, if you mute off to 0 and mute on to 127, how do you mix and control your volume? Maybe the guitar is too loud or the bass is too loud. Well, on the X6, if you go to mixer mode, the volume sliders on mixer mode allow you to adjust the volume on external synths, so there's no problem. So what I do is I just dial that in and then save that as a performance, and then I'll always have correct volume balance throughout the song. What I usually do on my external synths, like the TG500 or the V synth or anything else I use, I usually set it at the same volume, like 127, 120. Mixers are the same. I got my M12E down here. I leave the volume alone. I really don't like to move around and touch those volume controls. I like to keep the volume under control using the X6. So it's pretty cool. I just recently found this out. So I've been previously playing around with the external synth volume controls, and it's quite tedious if you've got a lot of gear on stage. But in this case, I can now control it here. And you can send any system exclusive message out through these pads or through the keys. Obviously, it's easier with the pads because I don't use the pads so much, really. But now I'm going to use them as system exclusive, so that will be pretty cool right there. So in any event, everybody has a different sequencer that they like or that they prefer. This in no way is a video to try to inform anybody that one sequencer is better than the other. I just like the X6 because every time I encounter a problem or limitation, there's a workaround. And the workaround is actually pretty good for live use, so I'm very happy with the X6. This RPS system exclusive may apply to the Fantom S or the Fantom G. I don't have those synths, so I'm not sure. You'd have to check the manual and see if RPS would allow you to send system exclusive information. But yeah, it's pretty cool actually. So now I can just externally connect all my vintage synths here and yeah, control everything using the front panel here. So pretty cool. Okay, all right. Well, this is Jim Japan. I hope you gained a little info and insight on that. I thought it was a really good trick. So all right, take it easy. Bye-bye.